All right, let's start from the beginning. Back in 2020, I believe it was. Yeah, 2020, late 2020. Sold our house at the height of the housing market. Made a good chunk of change and squirreled that money away. And then my wife and I decided to try to find where it is we wanted to end up. We had thought about staying in Indiana, which is where my wife has lived her entire life. Thought about going to Pennsylvania, but cost of living and taxes are way too high in that state. One point thought about North or South Carolina, but was too far away from all family. Easily would have had to have probably flown in for holidays or any family emergencies. So we've been to Tennessee several times and decided that was probably the state for us. Love the mountains and climate, as well as no state taxes, that sort of thing. So once we decided what state we wanted to be in, then we had to make up our minds where we wanted to live. So we've been to Gatlinburg and Sevierville, so pretty close to Knoxville, and really love that side, the Smoky Mountains, that kind of thing, but really wasn't a fan of Knoxville. Spent a weekend in Nashville on a long weekend vacation, checked the town out and everything else. Just didn't sit right with us, considering it's basically the Vegas of Tennessee. So nothing but partying and drinking and all that stuff. So definitely not our scene. And property values are way too high in the outlying areas of Nashville. So we ended up landing on Chattanooga, and quite honestly fell in love with the city because 15-20 minutes and you're out in the country. And the city was also has the attitude of everything is done outdoors, so more hiking trails than you know what to do with, a lot of stuff to do outdoors, kayaking, inner tubing, that kind of thing, mountain biking, all that kind of stuff. So I really fell in love with it. I was surprised my wife liked it, and it was within a reasonable distance from families for travel and that sort of thing, because I know we were going to be traveling back to Indiana a lot and to Kentucky to see our families. So seemed to make the most sense. So we finally got a real estate agent by the name of Susan Jackson, and she did a wonderful job. She was able to explain to us the area, took a weekend and took a tour around all the areas of where we were looking, so we could kind of get a better map of where we are in relation to work and a lot of other things, and what to be cautious of and what to be aware of as far as land and where to find it and all this, that, and the other. It was a huge resource. So after about 3 months of looking at properties with her, we found a piece of property in Dunlap past Cagle Mountain for 5 acres and paid exactly what I wanted to pay. Now, mind you, this was going to be now a 54-mile drive one way to work. But as you'll see throughout the videos and stuff as I make them, you'll see the drive. It's 100%, almost 100% straight highway, and a beautiful drive. Not very many vehicles on the road, not the traffic that I'm used to dealing with in Chicago. So an easy 54 minutes to drive to and from work, not a problem. Once we got closed on the property, went straight to work. First thing I did was to get address for the property and start clearing out the driveway and stuff. My dad was a huge help with that, trying to figure out where the best place to put the house was. Him and I staked out the west side of the property line, and then started pulling tape to make the best place for the site for the house, and then also find our driveway and how it was going to lead up to the house. So from there, him and I just started taping off trees and figuring out where all that stuff goes. And then after it got all taped off, just started cutting lumber. Spent every weekend after that cutting lumber down to make way for the driveway. My dad brought his tractor down to help pull stumps up and move logs out of the way, so that when we were going to be up there for an entire week to clear, would have easy access to the property to be able to move a little quick. So once the driveway was cleared out, got pretty far pretty fast. Had most of the area for the house cleared out for the most part. Once again, my parents come out for several weekends. I took long weekends off from work to be able to help them while they were down. So then in the week after 4th of July of 2023, we rented an excavator, the largest mini excavator we could have. I think it was an 18.5 JBC from, doesn't matter from who, but rented that for an entire week. My dad ran that, pulling up stumps and getting done what the tractor couldn't get done. My uncle came down, helped moving lumber and all that stuff, cutting trees down. By the end of the week, we had all the stumps pulled up we needed to pull, and we started burning lumber. Started burning brush piles and that kind of stuff to help clear it out. And you'll see photos and videos of all that stuff as well as I put them on here. But of course, while doing all this, trying to get the property cleared out, this, that, and the other, my wife and I were in the market trying to find, a contractor to do the building. We already had pre-approval through our lender to get the construction done and stuff, and went through several contractors, some which ended up flaking and didn't want to do business. Others were just absorbently expensive. We had some bids as high as almost $600,000 just to build a 1,800 square foot house with an attached garage, with no basement and nothing extra. We even went through Clayton Homes and through another modular home company out in Cleveland, Tennessee. When all the math was done, it was going to be around about the same price point where we wanted to be at with a stick-built home. And we were also held to the standards of the mobile homes, which I don't have an issue with. Let's make that perfectly clear. But for me personally, I just don't like the quality of construction, especially what is visible. The laminate countertops, the way the drywall is done, this, that, and the other. There are some really nice ones, but just not my taste or what I want, especially with the price point at where it's at, and how much little more I'd be paying to have something traditionally built. So after a long search and going through several contractors, we finally found a contractor, and that's kind of like where we're at now. Finally found the contractor, a guy by the name of Jason Dildine, Legacy Made. He is a journeyman plumber and also a general contractor. He's been doing it for about 8 to 10 years, I believe. I might be misquoting that, but he's been doing it for some time. He's definitely been in the construction industry for a long time. Get a really good feeling about him. Still have yet to work with him hand in hand with the process on mine anyway, but everything that I see of him and everything, the feel that I get from him seems to be good and positive. So since we have our contractor picked out, went to the lender, and then we had to start the process of our construction loan. All the while doing this, started it back in August, and all the while doing this, had to turn in every paycheck stub, every bank statement that came due, all those things, and then a credit check run, because since our pre-approval, it was longer than 6 months, so they had to run another credit check. And then during that time, getting surveys done, and a bunch of hoops had to be jumped through. And of course, since I'm using a lender who is out of the state of Tennessee, they got some different processes than what these guys in Tennessee are used to. So background check had to be done of the contractor that I was doing. Took a long time for one of the creditors or credit bureaus to get back. All said and done, it literally took the Friday before Christmas of 2023 before we finally signed contract. The thing I'm kind of noticing in Tennessee too is that if left to their own devices, things are going to take forever. And it's just it's nothing against them or what they're doing or how they do things. It's just the nature of the beast around here and how they do stuff. Nobody's in a terrible hurry or rush. Even though we're in the big city of Chattanooga, people are really not necessarily in a huge hurry to get anywhere. You don't have to offensively drive everywhere. You don't have to worry about a lot of people cutting you off and this and that. I mean, you got, everybody's got their assholes or whatever, but for the most part, as a general community, it's pretty slow in comparison to what I'm dealing with Chicago and Northwest Indiana. So it's definitely a culture change. Literally took us 9 weeks to get our septic permit because you got one guy covering 4 counties. So, but anyway, so finally got construction signed, and that's where I'm at now. So now I'm going to spend every weekend up there again, trying to cut up lumber to make firewood, and going to spend every weekend up there trying to cut firewood, just cutting the logs down to get ready to be split. The intention is to get all that stuff cut up so I can make some sort of income off of the lumber that's coming off the property. So instead of it just going to waste or end up rotting on the property, if y'all have any questions, feel free to comment. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I've decided to make a lot of these videos because I've had a couple of my friends asking, where we're at, what's going on, how was it, what to expect, all these kind of things. And I also get a lot of people asking me, where are you at in the building process? And I thought you were already building, things like that. And I don't think a lot of people understand how slow this process is. I especially didn't. I sure enough thought that, as soon as we had the land, it was go time, especially since we are pre-approved and all this other stuff. But that was far from the case. And honestly, I'm glad it took as long as it did because, we had some hiccups here and there and a lot of learning to do as far as, like I said, what goes on with the process and what we need to make sure we do. And everybody who is involved in the process so far has been a huge help and help educating me and my wife about what to expect and what we need to do and all this other stuff. But I will say too, it was kind of refreshing, was hearing from some of the people we talked to, like saying, oh, you already had that done? Oh, you did that already? That was pretty cool too. And I have to give a lot of credit to that to my father, because him telling me the things that I needed to make sure were done and ready to go before, we started this next step. And that helped keep me busy and feel like we were getting something done instead of standing around, waiting or just sitting around waiting and feeling like there was nothing for us to do, which that's far from the... One of the things we also had to do as well was to draw up house plans. I did that on some grid paper. I'll see if I can find the photos of that and put that on here as well. I drew up some basic house plans and stuff, and then took those house plans and took them to a draftsman. I learned that through one of the contractors we were dealing with that was going to help us, that we were potentially looking at to help us. So grateful for that, and able to utilize that person to get these house plans drawn up so I didn't have to depend on somebody else to do those kind of things and put their 2 cents in. Using the draftsman allowed me to have 100% control over what was put where and how it was done. you can use an architect or whatever, but a lot of times they're going to want to put their artistic flair on things and also tell you how things should be or not be or whatever. And I kind of already had an idea after my wife and I talking and sitting down with a piece of grid paper. Already had an idea of what it is we wanted and how we wanted it. And we searched probably a good 3 or 4 weeks online looking for house plans that would match up to what we wanted. And there was always something missing, or always something that we wanted added or taken away, or something that didn't seem to make sense to us, that didn't fit our vision. So at the end of the day, what made the most sense is to me to draw them up, take them to a draftsman, and him to put the engineering aspects of stuff, all that stuff together. Another thing to prepare you is that you are going to change your mind a lot. And I do mean a lot. And I mean from 1 hour you're going to want this here, and the next hour you're going to want it there. And you're going to second guess yourself all the way to the point that the bricks get put down for the foundation. And I can tell you right now, we're meeting with the surveyor tomorrow to put the foot pad down for the crawl space and the garage, and to mark all this stuff out with flags of exactly where this house is going to go. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not 100% sure this is how I want my house built. And it's going to drive you crazy. And because you're going to know as soon as the foundation gets put down, that's how it's going to be. No ifs, ands, or buts. Once you put a bucket into that dirt and start digging it up, there's no going back. Now, granted, you can change walls and move walls and stuff before they're put up and things like that. But once the foundation's down, that's as big as that house is going to be. Otherwise, it's just going to cost you an exorbitant amount of money to change it. So there's going to be a lot of doubt and a lot of uneasiness of, is this the right thing? Is this exactly what I want? This, that, and the other. And you may be different than me. I don't know. But, my ADD brain tries to think of every possible scenario, every possible situation, and not just the one I'm currently in, but, what's going to go on when I'm, 70 years old or when I'm 80 years old. I want this house to be the last house I live in, and I want to make sure it's going to be ready for me when I get to the point where I may not be as able-bodied as I am now. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to compromise, to tell myself it's okay, and to tell myself that, in some cases it is what it is, based on funds, based on a lot of factors. So a lot of compromising, a lot of concessions, things of that nature, especially when you're trying to stick into a tight budget, and as freakishly high this market is right now, and as insanely high as interest rates are right now. So we all being said, this process has been awesome. It's been a huge learning curve, big education, and despite the frustrations and stress and the what ifs and all the things, it's been awesome. And I can't be prouder of myself and my wife about where we came and where we're at now. I remember working for $12.50 an hour, barely able to make ends meet, living on our own, to where we're at now. And I can only say it's been putting our head down, expecting more from ourselves, and having a goal in mind and seeing it through. And it's not to say there hasn't been speed bumps and issues and problems along the way and things to get around and get over, but all of it has led us to here. And I'm grateful for where I am, and I'm grateful for what my wife and I have accomplished, and couldn't ask for anything more. I'm also grateful for the family I have, and not just my wife and my kids, but my mother and father and her mother and father, and the amount of moral and emotional support that we have gotten from them, and their excitement is my excitement. So thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to continue to do these videos, try to do them once a week as we do things. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be meeting with the surveyor. It is Sunday, January 5th, I think. Yeah, January 6th. January 6th. So we'll be meeting with the surveyor tomorrow to get bricks put down on the ground. So yeah, I'll try to do this once a week and keep you all posted of where we're at and how things are going as it sees fit. There might be some weeks I don't post anything because there's nothing to post as far as this process is concerned. And I'll try to share my thoughts and feelings about it and what's going on, frustrations, the highs and lows. Maybe it'll help somebody. Maybe it'll give them an idea of what to expect so they can be better prepared than I was. And that's me thinking I was okay prepared. So if I can help somebody with this, good.